Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we are doing a Star Wars tier list. We're starting off from A New Hope, going all the way to The Rise of Skywalker, and we're going to see what I think is the best and worst films. Starting off with A New Hope, I think it's an incredible start. Everything in it's just incredible. CGI, while it's not incredible, especially for today's standards, it's incredible that the film looks as good as it does and came out in 1977. I think everything in it is just fantastic. I don't really know what specifically to say. I guess the Darth Vader versus Obi-Wan fight could have been a little bit better, but also, what they're gonna do. This was back in 77, so it's probably a decent fight for the time. Especially like because for example, some of the better fights in like Revenge of the Sith, for example, that's probably because they knew more like what they were gonna do with it, I guess, and they had built more of a world up. So I don't know, I don't really know. But I just think A New Hope is really incredible, and once again, I don't know what to say about this film other than to just say it's incredible. Next up is Empire Strikes Back. I'm gonna put that in the A tier again. Same thing here with A New Hope. Once again, incredible. I don't really know what specifically to say because it's just so good. I will say though, I feel like the only reason it's going to be below A New Hope is because I prefer I find the pacing to be better in A New Hope to Empire. But that's just a personal thing. I totally understand if you don't find that problem at all. And it isn't really much of a problem. I just find the pacing a tiny bit better in A New Hope, so I put that above. But they're pretty much tied. Return of the Jedi, once again, I feel like this one could also be pretty much tied. They're all in that same category of so amazing. There's no standout problems. There's not really anything that I want to talk about in particular because it's like everything in it is just so good that it's like I don't really need to mention anything specifically. But I will say in this film, the lightsaber battles is definitely the best in the trilogy, in my opinion, especially the final one between Darth Vader and Luke. Next up is Phantom Menace. Now, this one, I think is an interesting start to the prequels. I think, there's parts of it that they could have done better, like not including Jar Jar Binks, who is the most annoying character ever. And another thing they could have done is, I don't know what else they could have done. Jar Jar is probably the worst thing in this film, worst thing in the whole trilogy, the worst thing in Star Wars, arguably. No, still better than Rey, don't worry. I don't know. It has its problems, but I feel like the problems, I can't really think of the problems right now. I just think that some scenes could have been better. Some scenes could have definitely been better in this film. I don't know. This is another film which I don't really know what to talk about because it's like I feel like I'm just like okay on most of the prequels, or I find them enjoyable, but I don't really have many major problems. So I'm honestly just gonna move on from A Phantom Menace. It's a good, enjoyable film, just not on the level of the original trilogy. Next up is Attack of the Clones. The reason that this is down here, I actually do have a reason for this. It's because I feel like some of the decisions they made in this film, whether it be with some of the actions the characters make or the dialogue, and also the CGI is a bit off. Some of the decisions, once again, are a bit weird. Like that whole conversation about Anakin saying, "Oh, I don't like sand." What is... honestly, amazing 10 out of 10 dialogue right there. I need to take some notes because I need to work on my Riz game. Sorry, Anakin, whatever that was not Riz. What were they thinking with that dialogue? Honestly, I'm not even gonna play the clip because otherwise you're probably gonna report me. Next up is Revenge of the Sith. This one's another A tier film. I feel like there's once again, just like the other films in this category, I don't really know what to talk about. Everything in it's just incredible, especially the Anakin versus Obi-Wan fight. That is the one thing I will talk about. It's everything about that fight is just so good. The fight choreography, you know, the emotions you feel during the fight, because it's like these two characters were like, I mean, I guess their relationship mainly worked in this film. The other two films, it's more like it's all right. But just everything to do with everything in that fight is incredible. Everything in this movie is incredible. There's nothing wrong with this film. I'm only putting it forth because the other three films I slightly prefer. Just find just like they are better films. But I don't really know what would also separate them from the other films as well. This film is just an incredible film. The Clone Wars film, this one's a weird one. I don't find it to be a bad film. I don't necessarily find it to be a bad film. I just think it's like, I don't even, once again, I don't really know. I really do not know. It's just a boring film. It's just a really incredibly boring film. And therefore I have to put it all the way down, even if I don't think it's a bad film. I just find it's really boring. That I don't really know what to say about it. It's just incredibly boring. I've not watched it in a while. It's just not great. I just think it's just boring. It's boring. Force Awakens. This one's definitely a step up from Attack of the Clones and the Clone Wars, which, by the way, these three films, and in fact Revenge of the Sith, Revenge of the Sith as well. Why is Jar Jar Binks in any of them? Like, maybe a Phantom Menace, you can make the case where, oh, he appeared, where it's like, you know, if he only appeared once, you know, I guess the trilogy will be somewhat good. He appears in all three films, even if he has a more of a minor role. I actually can't remember if he appears in the Clone Wars. My bad. But if he didn't, my bad. But like, especially like Revenge of the Sith and Attack of the Clones, even if he didn't have a big role, just his presence annoys me. Just him standing there, it just like something about him, something about his appearance, something about his presence, just like angers me. Just like I don't know. I'll chuck him in. Just chuck him in lava in Mustafar. Like, honestly, chuck him somewhere. Leave him. Remove him from these films. Nothing will change. Nothing major will change. Except for making the viewing experience slightly better, you know? Our next is Rogue One, another film that I've not seen in a while. But I will say, from remembering, from my memory of this film, it was an incredible film. Maybe not on the level of the original trilogy or Revenge of the Sith, once again. But it's just an incredible film, especially that last hallway scene. Honestly, all of it's just incredible. Once again, not really many problems with this film. Just, once again, it's not. I prefer a film with like lots of. I prefer my Star Wars films to have lots of lightsaber battles, rather than more gun stuff and more of the blasters and stuff. And this film has very little lightsaber, except from the final bit. Which, that might just be me. That might just be me being a little child once again. But I often I will probably I do really enjoy the lightsaber battles, and then this one having no lightsaber battles, pretty much it does make it slightly worse for me, because like, even if the other ones didn't really have much in terms of lightsaber battles, like for example, A New Hope only had one. I only had the one. I at least think that is nicely paced. I at least think that has good action outside that. Well, this one, I don't really know. I'm probably just yapping, and it's probably just me making up some sort of random reason to have it down in B tier rather than in A tier. So to be fair, that's probably not actually true, what I just said about it being down in B because of no lightsaber battles. I think it's literally just me trying to come up with some random excuse for putting it down there. I just don't know. It's a good film. It's a good, enjoyable film, and it's gonna be down there. It's down there. It's just not on the level of the other ones. Let's talk about Solo first. Solo. This one's an enjoyable film. Han Solo in this film, pretty good. But I feel I don't know. I don't know. There's something about Han Solo in this film that just, he feels a bit off. not in a bad way. It just feels a bit off, like a bit different than what you'd usually expect from your Han Solo. But it's a nice, but overall, it's a pretty nice little origin story for Han Solo. And I feel like I did really enjoy this film. While it's maybe not an incredible film, I did really enjoy it, and I do think it's quite underrated, and people should really give it another chance if they haven't already. And next is these two films. I think you know what are going to happen. I'll talk about Last Jedi first, obviously. Right, this film is honestly just like they had so much potential with The Force Awakens to do something incredible with all these incredible new characters, this incredible new, almost an incredible new world in a way. But then Last Jedi, even from the opening scenes, it genuinely all just falls apart from straight away. What opens with? At first, you might you might hear it and you might be like, oh, maybe it's actually a good opening. It starts with Poe pretty much leading an attack on the First Order, pretty much in space, while they're trying to escape from a planet that's being attacked by the First Order and destroyed, pretty much. That's just kind of from memory. I did rewatch it recently. I'm not the best at explaining stuff. But it's less about, I don't know, it's just more about the characters in this film. I maybe don't have as much of a problem about the story, but it's just the characters being frustrating, annoying, and different to what they should be like. Also stuff to do with like just ruining the rules and ruining what we already knew about this universe and world, like to do with, and it even carries on into the next film. It just ruins stuff to do with the lightsabers and the Force. Like it just like there's rules set up by all the other films. Just stick to them rules, and this already established world and everything that we already know about this, and then it should be good, right? But in these two films, they generally just like ignore it. It's almost as if the rest of it just doesn't exist, and I don't like that. Last Jedi also, Hux in this film and in the next film. I'm not going to talk about. To be fair, I'm probably actually just going to talk about them together. Hux in both of these films, he had so much potential. He was pretty much right. I don't know if this is the way I actually want to refer to it, but he was pretty much space Hitler, right? The equivalent of that in The Force Awakens, right? Pretty much. And I'm not idolizing Hitler here. Just please do not think that. Please do not assume that. I just want to put that out there. But he was pretty awesome. Arguably a bit intimidating of a character in The Force Awakens. And in this film, do you want to know what is you want to know what the first thing he does is? Take a guess. Is it blow up a planet? Is it kill one of our main characters to set the tone of the film? Or is it get wound up by your mum joke by Poe? I'll give you 5 seconds to think of the options, and comment down below. You know it's great. It's not been 5 seconds, but it's getting your wound up by your mum joke. I'm fumbling over my words here because of how frustrating it is that they turned a character that had so much potential. It could have been like, while maybe not on the level of Kylo Ren in The Force Awakens, had the potential to be probably one of the best villain characters within this new trilogy, and they just waste that all within the first 5 minutes of this film. Not even 5 minutes, like 3 minutes, in fact. And it's absolutely shocking how terribly they do it. And not only that, after this space like fight, I guess, with the resistance, he pretty much gets thrown, literally pretty much gets thrown around by Snoke as a giant face. It's I don't know. I just the choices they made, especially in the opening 10 minutes, was incredibly stupid. And then what was her name? Like Admiral Holdo or whatever. I can't remember. Honestly, everything she does is frustrating. Tell them your plan, or even if you don't have a plan, tell them, and then people can actually come together and try think of a plan. And if you do have a plan, but you just don't want to say it because people might not trust you or believe in your plan, just at least say that you have a plan, so then people actually know you're going to. Sorry, this film is just so frustrating. Why did they make this film? What are they doing? And then you got the I don't even want to talk about the move she pulls in the end. Her sacrifice. It makes no sense. Couldn't they have done that? I don't know. Either the two Death Stars couldn't have done that. Couldn't have done that in pretty much any other Star Wars film, and it would have saved. It would have saved everyone. It would have genuinely made pretty much most of the other Star Wars films about 5 minutes long. If they sacrificed one character to just destroy all, like, the Death Star, version 1 or 2, I don't know. Most of these films could have been solved by that one move. Yeah, you could maybe say, right? You could maybe say technology has advanced over time, but also, it also doesn't make sense for that to be one of the technologies that advances over time. I feel like because you've been able to pretty much. I don't even know how to explain it. I'm gonna stop talking about it before I crash out. Rise of Skywalker just like it breaks the rules even more, and it just gets even worse. I will say it's a little bit better just because I feel like it did try to fix a couple of the things that The Last Jedi done, but also ends up doing making a lot more problems as well. They're literally on the same level, so I don't really know. Like there is more moments in Rise of Skywalker where it's like, that's actually pretty cool. That's actually well done. But and like there's I don't know. It's just they're both just as bad as each other, and they're both films that I wish could be redone by someone completely different, a different studio. Please, what did they do to Star Wars, especially in these last two films? It's actually incredible how much they fumbled, especially with the start they had with The Force Awakens. And then I can't even think of anything else. Can't remember what I was going to say. Oh yeah, once again. Oh, so The Rise of Skywalker. There's too many things that just that they just happen. It doesn't make sense that they happen. There's too many things. I can't remember the word. But what they do, they literally, Disney and J.J. Abrams, they just made it happen just to make it easy, I don't know how to explain it. I'll try to think, like, how convenient is it that when their speeder thing got blown up, right? They landed in the exact sand pit that they needed to fall through to continue on their journey. Like, there's things that just like happen, and it makes no sense. Like, why should that happen then? Can you do it? You could do something similar, but maybe in a different way, where it's like it's not just like they're super lucky and they just manage to find this right thing at the right time in the right place without having to actually really do anything or be smart at all. And one thing though I do like about this film is the amount of strays that C-3PO is catching it's really funny, especially since C-3PO is not the best character in this film, let's just say. Anyway, this has probably been an incredibly frustrating video for you to watch. Probably boring as well. And this last 9 minutes or so has been full of me crashing out over The Rise of Skywalker and Last Jedi. So, if I were you, I would like, subscribe. I would consider watching more videos. Like, I mean, you don't have to, but I mean, like, I'd appreciate it. I guess see you all next time then. I guess goodbye. Let me just actually just like line this up. Let me get it at the right time, and I'm gonna start recording on both my laptop and my phone in 3,